This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello, I'm Tensai Gabriel, your host for this hour's news. Join us as we bring you the latest stories and updates from across Africa. Let's start with the news about African mobility. Africa is stepping up efforts to build a cleaner, greener transport future, though the rapid adoption of electric vehicles and sustainable mobility policies. Africa Mobility Week took place in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia from 14th to 16th of October 2025, bringing together various stakeholders from across Africa. Policymakers, investors, and innovators across the continent are working to reduce transport-related emissions, strengthen regional collaboration, and expand EV infrastructure. Ethiopia has emerged as one of the leaders in this transition, implementing a ban on fossil fuel-powered and second-hand vehicles, launching a green transport initiative, and investing heavily in renewable energy and charging networks. With its abundant hydropower resources, the country offers a cost-effective and sustainable energy base for e-mobility. In an exclusive interview with POA, Engineer Joy Makambe, Permanent Secretary at Zimbabwe's Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure Development, underscored the need for policy harmonization.
Our problems and our solutions and our successes are the same. So when we meet in one place, we get to even standardize our policies so that at the end of the day, we can move together. We can make use of infrastructure that is in the various countries because of the standards that we will have set as Africa. So whatever you can use in Ethiopia can be used in Zimbabwe, can be used in Zambia, in Malawi, due to the standardization.
Dr. Felix Amuhanwa of Ghana's University of Energy and Natural Resources highlighted that countries like Ethiopia, Egypt, and Kenya are leading the incentives and policy reforms.
If you look into Africa, you can realize that there are multiple of countries that are trying to adopt the EV vehicles. So, for example, if you look at areas in like in Ethiopia, if you look at areas like in Egypt and in Kenya, there are areas where, or there are countries that have really adopted the EVs, trying to also have different policy interventions in areas of tax reduction. And also what they try to do is to see how they can also improve upon their electricity reliability to be able to onboard the EV vehicles.
Africa's electric mobility momentum signals a decisive step toward energy independence, green jobs, and zero-emission transport future. South Africa expects to lift the care and maintenance status of the Pebble Bed modular reactor by the first quarter of the next year or even earlier, the Electricity and Engineer Minister said on Wednesday. South Africa halted its PPMR research in 2010 after spending more than $577 million and before building a planned demonstration model. We are far advanced in our internal processes to make the case to lift the care and maintenance on the PBMR. Kosiento Ramakopa, the Electricity and Energy Minister, told a media briefing. South Africa's 2025 Integrated Resource Plan, expected to be published this week, outlines more than 105 gigawatts of new generation capacity by 2039. Renewable energy is projected to account for more than half of this as the country seeks to reduce its dependence on coal. New nuclear generation capacity of 5.2 gigawatts is foreseen, with gas at 16 gigawatts, wind at 34 gigawatts, and solar PV at 25 gigawatts by 2039. South Africa has ambitions to reinvigorate the nuclear industry, with IRRP suggesting that this industrialization plan will determine the merits of 10 gigawatts of new nuclear generation capacity. Ramakopa said China, South Korea, the US, and Russia are among countries that could partner with South African Nuclear Energy Corporation on developing small modular reactors. Tunisian Prime Minister Sarah Zafrani Zanziri met visiting Libyan Minister of Economy and Trade Mohamed Al-Hawij in Tunis on Wednesday, with the two sides reaffirming their commitment to deepening economic and trade cooperation, according to a statement released by the Tunisian government. During the talks, the two reviewed the outcomes of the Tunisian-Libyan Joint Trade Commission meeting held on December 7 to 8, 2024 in Tripoli. Zanziri emphasized Tunisia's commitment to enhancing and diversifying trade relations with Libya, as well as advancing economic integration between the two neighboring countries. She also reiterated Tunisia's firm support for the Libyan people's sovereign choices, underscoring that the Libyan issue remains an internal matter free from foreign interference. For his part, Al-Hawij called for harmonizing standards to ensure the smooth flow of goods across border crossings. He also underscored the importance of enhancing private sector development, promoting digitalization of administrative procedures, and removing barriers to trade. Nigeria's Foreign Minister, Yusuf Tugar, urged rich countries to shift their approach to trade with Africa, moving away from a resource-grabbing mindset. Speaking at the Reuters Next Gulf Summit in Abu Dhabi, Tugar emphasized that trade should be rooted in mutual respect and support for Africa's development to address challenges like irregular migration. He noted that Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation and a major crude oil exporter, remains less impacted by U.S. trade tariffs and is prioritizing diverse trading partnerships to tackle issues like significant power deficit. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization has launched a new initiative that seeks to capitalize on artificial intelligence to boost development in Africa. At the G20 AI for Africa Conference 2025, held in Cape Town, UNESCO announced new programmers aimed at integrating artificial intelligence into government, justice, and education systems across Africa. As part of its commitment, UNESCO will train at least 15,000 civilian servants across the region on AI, the opportunities it presents to African governments, and the challenges that hinder its adoption. Additionally, the Paris-based organization will train 5,000 judges and prosecutors on how AI impacts the judicial system. Experts predict that AI will add $2.9 trillion to Africa's economy by the decade's end. Moving to business headlines, Gabon is not considering a debt restructuring or reprofiling and is in the process of rebasing its calculations of GDP, which will make its debt to GDP ratio more favorable, the country's vice president told Reuters. Gabon is also auditing internal debts, Vice President of Gabon Alexander Barrow Chambrier said on the sidelines of the Financial Times Africa Summit in London. Asked about possible debt reprofiling or restructuring, Chambrier told Reuters, "We are not at this juncture at this time." Chambrier said there is no reason to be scared of the country's debt and borrowing, and that Gabon is finalizing a national economic plan that would ensure all the country's debt contributed to long-term growth and development. He told a panel earlier in the morning that Gabon was working to increase its oil output and was able to repay. In his comments to Reuters, he said rebasing the gross domestic product calculations would be better capture the informal sector and country's natural capital. Finally, Agri-Food Group Export Trading Group, founded in Kenya in 1967, announced Wednesday that it will close its grains and oilseeds operations in Australia to concentrate on its core African activities. The company, which operates across Africa and globally in crop and fertilizer trading, food processing, logistics, and supply chain management, aims to strengthen its Africa-oriented strategy. ETG stated that its grains and oilseeds division will increasingly focus on African markets, including operations through its Spain desk, while maintaining a strong emphasis on integrated supply chain management. Concurrently, the company plans to expand its coffee, sugar, and metals business following a strategic review to enhance competitiveness through specific details were not disclosed. Next, let's check the current weather forecast. That's it for this hour. Grateful for your time, and we will be back with more news soon.